Hey there, Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno getting set for another great night of ballroom boxing action here at Michael's 8th Avenue. Hey, John, what's going to make tonight special?
Larry, we have a very interesting blend of some newcomers, some veterans, and some international stars.
Speaking of very interesting, I'm very interested to find out where Jon Scheinman might be right now. Have you seen Jon?
I haven't seen him at all.
Where's Scheinman?
John, stay with me tonight.
I can't. It's ballroom boxing. Larry and John are waiting for me downstairs.
I really need you.
But Suleiman's fighting tonight. I gotta go.
Would you please stay?
I can't. We've gotta go.
I need to stay.
Oh, they don't need me.
We are back to Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. An exciting venue for sure. It is time for ballroom boxing. Hi again, everybody. I'm Larry Michael. Great to be back with my longtime partner, Jon Saraceno. John, tonight the theme, international competition in the ballroom.
Larry, we have fighters from all over the world tonight, from South America, Kazakhstan, even Baltimore and Philadelphia.
They come from a long way away. Tonight, our main event here in the ballroom. It'll be Nurhan Suleyman against Artur Tartynov. And Suleiman has been here before, been in the ballroom. He is 15-1, John. Had a chance at a title. He failed. Needs to get back in the winner's circle.
He does, but he's a very skilled boxer and a very difficult opponent for Atadklanov, who's more of a mechanical type fighter, but always comes into the ring in tip-top condition, Larry.
That fight scheduled for 8 rounds tonight here in the ballroom. It will be Larry the Laser Marks against Elias Cruz, and John Marks, a former world title contender.
Yes, he lost to Six Heads Lewis, and he's got to get back on the winning track tonight, Larry. Very important fight for him.
Cruz, a very tough customer. Marks, a veteran from Newcastle, Delaware. Marks thinks he can get back in the title picture, John.
Well, he should be able to. Cruz has had a very difficult stretch as of late, Larry. He's lost 4 fights in a row. This is the night to do it.
It will be Oswaldo Bello taking on the veteran Sam Reese. You know, John, 5 years ago to the very day, Bello's last fight, a loss here in the ballroom, a thriller against Dana Rucker. That's a lot of ring rust.
It is a lot of ring rust, and matchmaker Chris Mittendorf calls him the 5-year cicada because he's finally emerging.
And his opponent here in the ballroom tonight, Sam Reese, we've seen him here before. He's fought his way to a winning record.
Well, he's a definition of a rugged journeyman, Larry. He's fought out of Newport News, Virginia for a long time, and he's been around. Boxing fans know Sam Reese.
Should be a good one, Bello and Reese. So it promises to be a fantastic night of action here in the ballroom if we can find Jon Scheinman.
Did we send out Scotland Yard yet to look for him?
When we come back, the first fight in the ring, and will Scheinman return? That's coming up after this. All right, welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael and Jon Saraceno. Oswaldo, Bello, and Sam Reese, 2 veterans, getting set to clash in the ballroom. Jon Scheinman with more.
Larry, matchmaker Chris Mittendorf pointed out before the fight, Oswaldo, but this was 5th year anniversary tonight of Oswaldo Bello's sensational fight with Dana Rucker here in the ballroom. Perhaps one of the best fights we ever had, and he was stopped in that fight. He has not had a single fight since then. Who knows what he's got right now. Tonight he fights against one of my favorite fighters in the region, Sam Reese, a rough, tough guy on a 3-fight win streak. He always comes to fight. This could be a good one.
Well, you know, we were here that night that Oswaldo Bello fought Dana Rucker, Jon Saraceno. Very memorable fight, but a 5-year layoff.
That is a long time to not do anything, let alone boxing, you know, which is predicated upon rhythm and staying in condition and being used to being in the ring. That's a tremendous obstacle there to overcome tonight.
All right, let's get it started with Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission, Chairman David J. Norman, Executive Director Patrick Bonella, Ballroom Boxing Promoters Scott and Michael J. Wagner, along with the Director of Boxing Operations, Dave Wilkerson, present this 6th-round bout in the light heavyweight division. Your referee in charge is John Gradowski. Judging at ringside, Gary Campaneschi, Don Risher, and Malik Wali. Your timekeeper is Tommy Canaris. The scorekeeper is Kenny Chevalier. Introducing the boxers. First to my left, out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with the white trim. He weighed in at 167 pounds. He comes to us from Brooklyn, New York, by way of Caracas, Venezuela. His record, 9-6-2, 8 via the KO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ballroom, Oswaldo Revolution Bello! To my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with the white trim. He weighed in at 169 3/4 pounds. He comes to us from Newport News, Virginia. His record, 16-11-4, 6 via the KO. Please welcome to the ballroom, Sam Fists of Fury Reese.
Well, Sam Reese is no stranger to the ballroom. He's been here under all kinds of different circumstances. He's been very active. He's won his last 3. The matchup, Jon Saraceno.
Sam Reese only 5'10", but a little bit more cut than Bello. And Sam Reese with that reach advantage, at least the linear reach.
This fight is scheduled for 6 rounds. These are light heavyweights, and of course, Bello has not fought in 5 years. 5 years ago to the day, right here in this same ring. What an oddity that is.
I don't know if we've ever had fighters go 5 years that we've done fights here, have we?
I don't know. I mean, this is our 61st Ballroom Boxing telecast. And it's great to be with you, coast to coast. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. So proud to be a part of the Ballroom Boxing series over the years. Seen some great fighters come through Michael's 8th Avenue. We've had some very memorable fights. Sam Reese, though, you would think wants to jump on top of Bello quickly, considering the 5-year layoff.
Also seen some great football players in here, the Ballroom Boxing.
Who is here tonight, John?
Well, Lenny Moore is in the Hall of Fame, played for the Baltimore Colts. He's a regular guest here, but tonight we saw for the first time Deion Sanders, future Hall of Famer, we probably think. Also Cordell Stewart.
Prime time.
From the Ravens. Yep.
Now Sam Reese, the epitome of a boxing veteran. Told by Chris Mittendorf, our matchmaker, that Reese trains himself in his garage. That is his style. That is his training regimen. He's out of job. He's a full-time employee, but part-time boxer. And his goal in life as a boxer is to win enough money to pay off his house note.
You know what? You got to tip your cap to the Sam Reeses of the boxing world, and there are more Sam Reeses than there are, you know, stars. Let's face it. By a huge multiple. And you know, he comes to work, does an honest job.
Is Reese giving him too much respect considering the 5-year layoff? I would have tested Bello early.
I think that, you know, strategically wise, you would put a little more heat on a guy who hasn't been in the ring for a long time, but Sam's not that kind of a fighter, Larry. Very kind of a cautious fighter, and he likes to figure his opponent out. Of course, you would think Bello is fighting the left-hander. He's got to do some figuring out.
Bello kind of incommunicado here before this fight, trying to find out why the layoff. He would not talk about it. And I remember that fight very well back in 1999, one of the early Ballroom Boxing shows. Bello had Rucker down. Bello had Rucker out. Sam Reese pounding away. Now this is a test right now, trying to test the midsection of Bello. Being off for 5 years, that's not a bad idea.
Well, Bello's holding him.
Hey, listen to me. Clean break. Clean break.
That fight against Dana Rucker was so memorable. Both men down. Rucker just about out. I mean, he was wobbly. Somehow came back and knocked out Bello. Bello off balance. Reese trying to take advantage. In the end of the first round, more Ballroom Boxing coming your way in a moment. All right, taking a look at action from round 1, Reese and Bello.
Well, Reese tried to pin Bello against the ropes, and then Bello held on to him, and Sam just kept hooking him.
Seconds out. seconds out.
That was a feeling out round, really.
Round 2.
With Reese trying to initiate most of the action. There you see the hold. And Reese digging underneath. I don't know how effective those punches were, but he was throwing.
Round 2 underway here in the ballroom. Sam Reese in the dark blue trunks with the white trim and stars running up the side of his leg. Bello, says Bello right across his belt line. Black trunks with the red trim, and Sam Reese beginning to turn up the heat a little bit here.
That was a nice combination by Reese. That was his best moment of the fight. And Bello's got to try to work himself back into the ring here against live competition, live crowd, under the lights, television.
Somehow Sam Reese has managed to get his record above 500. He went through a spell in early in 2002, leading through 2003, where he had 4 decision losses, grabbed a win, was knocked out 3 times, but he has won 3 of his last 4. And he is 16, 11, and 4 right now. And he's really climbed out of a career hole, so to speak.
Sam has been a good journeyman fighter.
And you would think that if Reese continues to work hard here, keeps the punches flowing, Bello being off for 5 years, that's going to be a tough thing to overcome.
And it looks like Sam has really figured him out and is really putting up on a little more pressure here in the second round, starting to put his punches together better. And Bello just can't seem to quite get in a rhythm.
Straight left hand right down the middle, scores to Bello's nose.
Sam, no forearm.
Well, John Grodowski caught a forearm on the inside that time.
You see Bello operating from behind that jab, trying to get something going. He is a good puncher, Larry.
Well, Bello beginning to loosen up a little bit here in round 2, John. He looks a little looser at least.
He does.
Break, step back, break.
But you can just tell that he is, there's a little something missing. He's not the same fighter we saw 4 or 5 years ago.
How could he be?
No.
Second warning from John Grodowski, this time for a low blow to Sam Reese. Nice combination. Not a lot of leverage behind those punches, but scoring blows nonetheless.
Sam is not a big puncher.
6 knockouts out of 16 victories. Last knockout, though, came 2 fights ago.
Stop! White corner, Sam. Time.
Situation in the corner of Bello, some loose tape on the glove of Bello.
Come on, hurry up, hurry up. Let's go, come on.
Well, this corner man certainly working by the hour because he is in no rush right now.
Larry, do you think he belongs to a union?
John Grodowski trying to tell the guy to hurry up, but look at this guy. And you know what? Maybe that's a good strategy for Bello. He's been off for 5 years. I mean, he couldn't have done it any slower, could he?
I've never seen anything quite like that.
Man. And the clock starts and the round winds out. Round 2 closing quickly. Another good round for Sam Reese out of Newport News, Virginia.
Time! Not after the bell, okay? Not after the bell.
All right, welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Action from round 2. Sam Reese getting it together.
Yeah, Sam's putting his punches together. Good straight left hand, 2 of them as he pinned his opponent against the ropes. Good round for Sam Reese.
From a different angle, you saw Reese diving in with the left hand. Gets through the guard of Bello. Quickly to John Scheinman, the scorecard after 2 rounds, John.
2018 Reese, Larry, he's just dominated the fight. He's quicker, he's more adaptable. He's just doing everything to counter Bello, who can't get off.
Bello tried to jump out with a quick punch here in round 3 and caught Reese a little cold that time.
Back. Stop punching, step back.
Sam Reese's expression never changes on his face.
Never does it?
He looks the same every fight. No matter what's happening.
This light heavyweight contest scheduled for 6 rounds tonight in the ballroom.
Keep him up, Sam.
Sam's in really good condition. And that's what enables him to really hang in these fights the way he does and be competitive.
Nice chopping punch by Sam Reese. Good leverage on that punch. Bello is dangerous, though. He packs a wallop.
But his timing is off, Larry. It really is. He's having a hard time finding the target.
Now, once again, Bello inactive for the last 5 years. 5 years ago to the day, he fought in this very ring.
Step back.
And lost by way of TKO to Dana Rucker. He returns to the scene of that loss, trying for redemption. And Sam Reese really controlling the tempo of this fight.
Break! Step out of it.
He's on the break, baby.
You look at Bello and you look at the 5-year layoff. It's only a 6-round fight, John. Could fatigue be any kind of factor?
No question.
Break! Step out of it. Step out of it.
We don't know what kind
Watch
of
your
training
heads
he
coming
had for this
inside
fight.
now.
You
Watch
got to
your
figure
heads.
his first fight coming back, he wanted to be really ready. Peak physical condition, but you know, you've been off that long from the ring. I don't think you get all that back in sparring.
No. I mean, that's a long layoff, 5 years. I mean, look at how much we've aged.
I'd rather not.
Bello, though, stepping forward. Good, strong right hand by Bello scores. And he's beginning to find a little rhythm here, John. Not much, just a little, kind of sneaking closer to Sam Reese.
Sneaky uppercut by Bello.
Well, one thing about Bello, he continues to move forward.
Sam's got to keep giving him some angles, though. Don't stand in front of him.
Sneaky left hand on the inside by Sam Reese.
It looks like he's slowing down a little bit this round.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
It's arm punching.
Break! Stop punching. Stop punching. Don't hit on the break.
John Gradowski very busy in this fight. Sam Reese has a propensity. Oh, big right hand by Bello scores. And that catches Sam Reese's attention.
Sam keeps digging with those body shots.
Nice left hand. He steps around and scores at the end of round 3. All right, welcome back to the ballroom. Here is how round 3 started. It was Bello jumping in quickly and scoring with a solid right hand to Sam Reese. That's the best punch of the fight for Oswaldo Bello, but really not enough to give him the round. Right, John Scheinman?
Not enough to give him a round. Sam Reese still winning every one of my scorecard and ahead 30-27. Bello, as you both said in that last round, is beginning to find the range, particularly with the straight right hand. You know, we know in his fight with Rucker, he was susceptible to the left hook, but Sam Reese, being a lefty, doesn't throw that shot. So I don't think it's going to be a factor down the line, and that's the shot that Bello in the past was susceptible to.
All right, there's the word from John Scheinman. I'm Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Great to be with you for Ballroom Boxing from Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Oswaldo Bello in the black trunks with the red trim. It is Sam Reese in the dark blue trunks. Probably looks black. As you're watching
your
at home.
eyes are good. Those are dark blue.
That's the Penn State colors, John.
Yeah,
You, of all people, should know that. Am I right?
Yes.
What do you call that blue, John, at Penn State?
Blue.
Dark blue.
Blue. Nittany blue.
Getting ready to say that Sam Reese, a lot of times when he throws his shots, is walking forward, John. Could you elaborate that on a little bit?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Scheinman.
No.
Sorry about that. I heard you say John. I thought you guys were talking about that. About the way Reese steps forward when he throws punches. He's not really sitting down on his punches, enabling him to get enough leverage on those shots, and it does take away something off your punches. But we're also remarking off camera how much Sam has improved over the years.
Yes.
He's really become a solid fighter.
Stop punching.
Not necessarily an exciting fighter, not a big puncher, but a guy who's very capable.
Again, he's self-trained, trains out of his gym in his garage. You got to figure, come home after a long day's work, still stepping in and training the way you have to train to be successful in professional boxing. That's a lot of commitment right there.
And a lot of guys, you know, they find they don't really have it.
Bello with a lot of head movement, not much punching going on. And this has kind of settled into a tempo that it's not exactly a thriller. What could Sam Reese be doing better here, John? Because he's dominating the fight, but not impressively.
Well, Bello's a bit awkward himself. You see Sam open up with the right. Sam's throwing good combination punches. You know, I think it's really partly the opponent he has in front of him. I mean, Sam's doing what he can. He's punching, he's getting out, he's showing some angles.
Okay, keep him up. No, they were
But Sam doesn't want to get into a war with this guy. He doesn't want to start swapping.
Another warning for low blows by John Grodowski. It's a close fight. Reese cannot afford to give any points away.
Good point.
On a foul. More ballroom boxing coming up. Big left hand by Reese at the bell. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Action from round 4. This fight is scheduled for 6 rounds tonight. Sam Reese and Oswaldo Bello in the center of the ring. That's probably the best punch of the fight for Sam Reese right there, the left hand.
That was a good shot. I've got him ahead 3 rounds to 1.
This is round 5. Round 5.
More action from round 4. It's the same punch from a different angle. And Bello was pulling back just enough to take the edge off that punch.
Well, Bello's really going to have to turn it up here, Larry. He's got to get a lot more aggressive. He's got to take some more chances. And, you know, against the southpaw, it's not necessarily easy. But, again, those lead right hands would help. He's throwing a lot of jabs against the southpaw, which is not the most effective punch. You still need to throw them, but it seems like that's all he's throwing.
Bello very confident. I mean, he's still in front of Sam Reese. Still trying to move forward. There's a jab by Bello. But I can't see how any of what he's doing is going to impress the judges.
And Sam's got to keep that, in his case, his right jab moving, and he is. Got to keep that in Bello's face.
Bello looking for that hook to land. Could be that a knockdown or knockout is his only chance at this point. Sam Reese continuing to keep his punches moving, though. Really roughing up Bello on the inside.
I think Sam's fighting a pretty smart fight.
Doesn't look real tired either. He's fighting within himself. He's not expending too much needless energy. Well, he's in charge right now, John.
What I like about Sam, one thing is he throws punches in combination. He just doesn't throw one punch at a time. When he throws, it's usually 2 or 3. Or oftentimes.
Reese acknowledging his corner's instructions to not wait. And Bello's left hook looks like it's pretty powerful. You know, he's got 9 wins. 8 of those wins have come by way of knockout. Sam Reese, on the other hand, just 6 of 16 victories by KO. Nice stiff right hand by Bello. Doesn't really hurt Sam Reese.
Sam Reese has to stay in his P's and Q's defensively, Larry. Bello does have a very good right hand.
I never knew what that meant, John. P's and Q's.
You know, your P's and Q's.
I don't know what that means. I've heard that all my life, but I've never asked until right now. I see Bello trying to do something, but really at this point, he's fighting uphill. Nice combination by Sam Reese. Sam Reese becoming a counterpuncher here, letting Oswaldo Bello come to him. Jon Saraceno thrilled with this one. The 6th and final round coming up next. Sam Reese and Oswaldo Bello battling in the ballroom. All right, action from round 5 here in the ballroom. Talk about it, Jon Saraceno.
Well, Sam Reese, combination punching we've seen all night. He's a little wide with his shots. But Bello, being out of the ring for 5 years defensively, not exactly a slickster. So he's getting the worst of it, Larry.
Sam Reese with the quick combinations from our overhead cam.
I love that view. Great view, and you see Sam doing his handiwork there with those.
That left hand scored nicely. It's the 6th and final round. John Scheinman, who do you have leading with 3 minutes to go?
A shutout, 50-45 for Sam Reese. Masterful performance. Bello, to me, Larry, looks like a fighter who, after 5 years, got into tremendous condition and sees all the openings and can't get the punches off. Just like Joe Louis said in his final fight against Marciano. I saw the openings, I couldn't get off. That's what Bello looks like here.
Eddie Futch said to me one time, reflexes for a fighter are like elastic in your socks. Once you lose the elastic in your socks, you don't get it back and they don't stay up anymore.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Out of there. No punching, no punching. No, got to step back.
Now, Bello has to realize that he is behind on the scorecards. I can't imagine he can think that he is ahead. So a knockout's his only hope. He's got knockout power, so he still has that hope. Of course, Reese has been warned numerous times by John Grodowski, so a point deduction could loom large if it happened.
Maybe, but I think Reese has built up such a points advantage. At least we think so ringside. But I'm surprised he's been warned so often. Usually here they go ahead and take the point. So it's a point well made.
If you made it, it was well made.
I meant your point.
So this fight has fallen into a pattern with Reese really leading the entire fight. Bello looking for an opening, trying to land a power shot. Reese's handwork, fists have been flying very quickly, and that's what he calls himself, Fist of Fury, right?
He does. And I agree with our partner John here. I think Bello just does not have it.
Now he scores with a left hand and a right.
Break, step up, break.
Or if he does, it's going to take a while to get back. If it ever comes back.
Sam Reese just too quick with his fists for Bello. You know, Bello does see the opening, but he's hesitating.
And it's not like Sam has blazing fast hands.
Right.
He really doesn't.
Sam Reese has really nailed Bello with some pretty good shots. Hasn't been able to really hurt him severely.
He's put on a pretty good boxing lesson here this evening.
Little pity pat jab, but keeping Bello at the end of it. This fight's going the distance. Sam Reese and Oswaldo Bello, after a 5-year layoff, goes the 6-round distance.
Stop.
And when we come back to the ballroom, we'll find out who won in a moment. So Oswaldo Bello and Sam Reese go the distance. Let's take a look at action from this one. Really dominated by Sam Reese from bell to bell, John.
Well, it was a boxing lesson by Sam Reese tonight. And he started off with that jab, and he threw good combinations. There's a left. He dug in under the chin of his opponent. And he really just overwhelmed Bello, who had been out of the ring, as we had mentioned many times, for 5 years. There's an overhead.
A tough, long hold off. I mean, 5 years on the shelf. Bello didn't look that bad, really.
Well, he looked okay, but really, Larry, he could never amount really much of an offensive attack. His rhythm just wasn't there, and you don't get that back all in one night if he ever gets it back.
So Bello and Reese go the distance. It would appear that Reese has won his 17th. We'll find out officially from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the scorecards for the verdict. Judge Gary Campaneschi scores it 59-55. Judge Malik Waleed scores it 60-54. And Judge Don Risher scores it 58-56. All in favor of, and the winner by unanimous decision, Sam Fists of Fury Reese.
So in an entertaining battle, Sam Reese wins the decision over Oswaldo Bello to win his 17th as a professional. Sam Reese, you know, getting a little bit better each time out. Let's look back at some of the action.
And you're going to see, I'm not sure what round this is, but 5th round, the truck tells us. Sam Reese did a lot of good combination punching throughout the fight. It really took place mostly in the center of the ring. Round 6 action. Good right hand by Bello, but he had too few of those moments. And there's Reese battling back, not necessarily effectively, running towards his opponent and running into a punch. But Sam was a little bit more of a game fighter, a little sharper, and he's the active fighter. That's why he deserved the win.
He is the winner, and he's standing by with Jon Scheinman. Take it away, Jon.
Between the lateral movement, the good jab, decent power, it just looked like a clinic out there. How relaxed were you in this fight with Oswaldo Bello?
Hey, with God standing behind me and me giving him all the glory, I was relaxed as can be.
Now, his last fight was 5 years ago here, and it was one of the best fights in the ballroom against Dana Rucker, one of those knockdown, drag-out slugfests. Were you concerned about his power coming in? Because he has a reputation as a good puncher.
I wasn't concerned at all. I mean, as I said before, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. I give God all the glory. Thanks for him giving me the ability to do the things that I do.
Sam, you had a losing record for a long time in your career. You're up to 17-11 now. And for me, you just seem to get better each time out. What's turned your career around, and how do you keep getting better at, well, let's be frank, 34 years old?
I started training for a change. At first, I started out just working off of pure skill, but after taking all them losses, I didn't like the way my record was looking. I knew I could fight better than what I was fighting, so I started stepping up on the training, started taking it serious, and now you see what I'm doing.
Now, the story's true that you train yourself in the garage, and how do you get the proper work done to get where you're at doing that?
That's very true. I've been training in my garage from day one, and I mean, hey, I'm my own motivator. With God giving me all the glory and the ability to do what I do, with him on my side, nobody can be against me.
Sam Reese continuing to get better at 34 years old, but still looking pretty sprite. Let's go back to ringside to Larry and Jon.
All right, Sam Reese, the winner in the ballroom tonight. More action coming your way from Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Stick around. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael and Jon Saraceno. Larry the Laser Marks, a former world title contender in the ballroom, facing Elias Cruz. With more on this one, here's Jon Scheinman.
Larry Marks is no stranger to world-class experience. He once fought Six Heads Lewis and lost for the WBA welterweight title. His last fight came in February when he was demolished in 2 rounds by Takumbo Olajide for the USBA junior middleweight title. Now he's moved up again. He's fighting at 164 pounds here, and I think he gets a pretty good comeback fight against Elias Cruz, who's kind of taking this fight on pretty late notice. He's out of the Dominican Republic. His record's only 11-10. It's a chance for Marks to see where he stands right now and get his feet back in the water.
All right, so it is Marks and Cruz tonight in the ballroom. Let's get this one started, as always, with Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission, Chairman David J. Norman, Executive Director Patrick Pinella, and Ballroom Boxing Promoters Scott and Michael J. Wagner, and Director of Boxing Operations Dave Wilkerson present this 8-round bout in the middleweight division. Your referee in charge is Kenny Chevalier. Judging the bout at ringside, Gary Campaneschi, Don Risher, and Malik Waleed. Your timekeeper is Tommy Canaris. The scorekeeper is John Gradowski. Introducing the boxers. First to my left, out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with white trim. He weighed in at 160 pounds. From Miami, Florida, via the Dominican Republic. His record, 11-10, 7 via the KO. Please welcome to the ballroom, Elias Police Cruz. To my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with black trim. He weighed in at 164 pounds. He comes to us from Newcastle, Delaware. His record, 24-7, 14 via the KO. Please welcome to the ballroom, Larry the Laser Marks.
So it is the Laser against the Police, Elias Police Cruz. And the referee is Kenny Chevalier and Jon Saraceno. Please take a look at the matchup.
Larry Marks, 164 pounds, a little bit of an advantage over Elias Cruz. Cruz has the longer reach. Let's see how that plays into it.
So we are set this one, the Co-feature tonight, 8 rounds, middleweights, Marks and Cruz. Cruz has had the better competition in his career by far.
I've heard of a lot of nicknames over the years sitting here ringside with you, Larry.
Yes?
Police is the first one I've ever.
I don't see the relevance there, but.
If his last name was Cruiser.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to ask him later tonight, John.
Let's hope he's not a cruiser in the ring.
He's trying to pound away at the midsection of Larry Marks. Marks has been in against some great competition. Talked about it. Six Heads Lewis on his resume.
By the way, how did Mr. Lewis get that nickname?
I think they said he hit somebody so hard he saw 6 heads in front of him. I think that's the story there. Matter of fact, I did that fight when 6 Head fought Larry Marks. And Marks really accounted for himself nicely. It was a decision win, a 12-round decision for 6 Heads Lewis, who would go on to lose his title to Ricardo Mayorga.
We have no doubt telling who Marks is. He's got that name stitched across his top part of his band of his trunks. He wants people to know who he is.
He's giving Cruz very little respect early on here. This right hand by Marks just came up a little bit short. He's trying to set him up for the right hand.
Cruz been a bit of a losing streak, hasn't he been, Larry?
Yeah, last time out, he actually lost his last 4. This is his second fight in 2004, lost in May, and his only other fight of the year.
This would be a pretty tough guy. We're going to see.
See, Marks has that right hand cocked and ready. I mean, he wants to fire that right hand so bad right now. Cruz, some soft body work. If you look at the pedigrees of the fighters, obviously Marks the better amateur background. Former world title contender. Been rated in the top 10 in the world before.
Marks just playing possum here, don't you think, Larry?
Oh, no question. Trying to set him up for a counter shot off the ropes. Cruz really is trying to find some body work there, but Marks a little too slick.
Marks wants to throw that right hand.
I'm telling you, everybody in the ballroom knows he wants to throw the right hand, including his opponent, Cruz. Slapping left hand by Cruz. Nothing much behind that. Round 1 coming to a close. Fight is scheduled for 8 rounds tonight here in the ballroom. Now there he is, prime time. Deion Sanders in attendance here at the ballroom tonight. And John, I didn't know he was a boxing fan.
I didn't know he was either. I know he loves to fish. We were talking about bass fishing a little bit upstairs.
Very comfortable in front of the camera. Deion Sanders, action from the previous round. Round 1 really uneventful. But Larry Marks, I think, took round 1 just on his aggressiveness.
I would agree. And so would probably Mr. Cruz.
Well, he might not agree with you.
If you were put to a lie detector test, he might agree.
Cruz doing his best. I just don't think he has enough firepower to gain any respect from Larry Marks. I really don't.
I tell you who won't agree, because I just peeked over and looked at his scorecard.
Scheinman.
Yes. He gave the first round to Mr. Cruz.
It's about time he came back.
But don't tell him I know. I know, he keeps getting up.
Marks, you know, as well as his pedigree shows on his record, to me, should be doing a little bit more here to show some dominance in this fight. Cruz is doing the best he can. Marks is just laying back a little too much, John.
Well, he's picking his spots. It's only the second round. He's got some time.
He wanted to land that right hand in round 1. There's the right hand. That's why he's wanted to land it. Cruz is in some trouble. Kenny Chevalier already in close, and he might stop this. If Marks can score one more solid punch, Cruz comes back, and somehow he's recovered. And he was out in the corner. I don't think he's recovered 100%.
Break, step back, step back.
Marks looking for the knockout here in the second round. Stunning Cruz with that right hand. Left hand that time, and a left hand counter by Cruz. There's that right hand again by Marks.
Oh, man. It's coming fast and furious now, right above us.
Bringing it, isn't he? That right hand crunching on the chin of Cruz.
Good body shot by Marks.
Marks really opening up right now. Somehow Cruz staying upright. Cruz responding with a weak combination.
Break, step back, step back. Oh, step back.
Marks is looking for that right hand. Now that he scored with the right once, looks off to the ringside area and winks. Is he winking at you, John?
He better not be.
Oh, that right hand hurt Cruz again as he backs into the corner. I mean, one perfect shot. One look at Cruz's legs. He's still wobbling. Marks trying to set him up with that right hand.
Step back, step back. Step back on the break.
Boy, it looked for a while there that Marks really had Cruz going, and he was going to be gone.
Now Cruz will escape round two against Larry Marks. The overhand right, a clubbing blow as the round comes to a close. There you see Elias Cruz suffering after that round two pounding from Larry Marks. Let's take a look at some of that.
Well, Marks backed him up the ropes and then just started shooting those hard, straight right hands to the jaw. And you see his legs stumble. Elias Cruz go back in the corner. And we thought that might be the end of Cruz. Good shot there by Marks. In a very good round. I thought it was a 10-8 round for Larry Marks.
What did John Scheinman think? The scorecard after 2 rounds, John?
I got it even. I gave Elias Cruz the first round. Did good body work, and that last round to me was just 10-9 for Marks because Cruz fought off the ropes out of the corner very well, just to survive, but he didn't get overwhelmed.
All right, so round 3 underway. I don't know if Cruz can take much more of this. I mean, he's bringing some heavy punches, Larry Marks is.
He is really teeing off. But I tell you what, Cruz is trying to fight back, Larry.
Not sure if... Oh,
that was a low shot.
Real low.
And Kenny Chevalier didn't like that either. Look at disgust on his face. And boy, Marks is really hopping around.
Well, Larry Marks, I think, is milking the moment a little bit.
No go baseball home.
Take a look at the low shot by Cruz. Let's see how low he went. Oh, right between the legs.
Ouch.
I mean, he squared up on that one.
Tell you what, Cruz is really fighting back hard here. You would have thought those right hands would have discouraged him, but actually it's had the opposite effect.
Another low blow, another one. Now, Marks, I don't think that low blow hurt.
It looked like it hit his leg.
Hit him way low. Hit him way low.
My man, you got one.
Now this could get very ugly very quickly.
Kenny Chevalier taking the point away. Another look. I mean, he looked at it. He knew what he was doing. Look at him. His head's below his belt. Second time in a row.
Yeah, that was
south of the border, as they say.
Get your foot off the rope, man.
That was south of Tijuana.
Take it easy, you all right? Hey, look. You watch your attitude after that, okay? All right, okay.
Kenny Chevalier, no nonsense in the ring.
Watch your attitude. Tell you what, I don't know what lit the fire under Elias Cruz. Maybe it was that last big right hand he got nailed with earlier in the round, but he's been a totally different fighter.
I got Marks' attention. Marks moving a little bit now.
Cruz is almost being reckless. In fact, he is being reckless.
That was right on the belt line that time. Maybe Cruz is looking for a way out of the fight. I don't know. You know, purposely hitting low is a good way to go if you want to get out of the fight.
I mean, he's chasing like he stole his best girl. Kenny Chevalier almost stopped the fight there, I think. Looked like.
I'm gonna take another point.
Oh, now he said one more time, I'm going to take another point.
Well, he's taking a point right now.
Another point. One more time and it's over, okay?
Oh, he's going to DQ him the
That's
next
it.
time.
You ready?
Fair warn. Telling you, I think he's looking for a way out of the fight. With some honor, I guess, at least in his mind.
Right.
Not getting knocked out. Almost got knocked out in round 2.
Oh!
Do-si-do your partner.
You know how to square dance, John? I didn't know you.
Yeah. I'm a cowboy from way back. He's talking to him. Marks is talking to him.
Said he's going to knock him out. He said, I'm going to knock you out. It's turning into a fun fight at least. Maybe not so much fun for Marks.
This is a fight. This is a fist fight. This is not a boxing match.
Now, these guys genuinely disliking each other. Look in the eyes of Cruz. He's taking a beating. Keeps coming.
Come on out. Come on out there.
Kenny Chevalier,
Got a
small
tough
in
night's work
stature, but
tonight.
not spirit. Boy, he gets in there and breaks him up.
Well, Cruz got a lot of courage.
Marks is still running his yap. It's going to turn into a very interesting fight. Ooh, lead right hand just missed.
That's it.
Marks really talking some smack here. Round 4 will be next. Things getting interesting in the ballroom. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing, where the fans and the food are great. Here's action from the previous round. Another low blow. It was a low blow fest for Elias Cruz. Had 2 points taken away. Kenny Chevalier threatened. He almost stopped the fight right there. Kenny almost stopped the fight right there, and this fight has resumed. Round 4 underway. And Marks, you know, been talking to Cruz ever since those low blows started.
I swear Cruz just picked up his knee and tried to use it. This is really getting dirty.
Cruz's eyes. His eyes are a beaten pulp. They're turning black. They're swollen.
They were a little bit black and blue when he came in the ring.
Some tough sparring, I guess.
Wow, he's out of control. Look how wide his legs are. His balance is gone.
Down he goes.
You know what? I'd be prone to stopping this fight at some point, because this guy is a danger not only to the other opponent, but to himself.
I don't think he can get up.
Stop the fight.
And the corner says no more. The corner says no more.
Wow.
And at least Cruz and Marks touch gloves. And this one mercifully comes to a finish. Larry Marks stayed within himself. Could have gotten frustrated with the low blows. Instead, he turns it around in his favor and stops Elias Cruz. Let's take a look at how this one ended.
Wow, bizarre finish.
Yeah, welcome to Bizarro World.
Good right hand by Marks. He was tattooing.
And he just backed away and let Cruz fall. Look at Cruz.
Yeah, he was tattooing Cruz with that right hand.
He was, and Marks motioning.
Yeah.
First said no more, and then he says, come on
like
and fight.
A man. Well, I think Cruz had enough at that point. It was obvious, and his corner thought so too.
Yeah, corner stepped up on the ring apron.
And probably did a good thing.
They called a halt to the action. So Larry Marks victorious, and hoping that Jon Scheinman finds out what his plans are next. A guy that had been a world title contender in the past. And he's trying to get back to that top 10 category, John.
Yeah, well, he's got the talent and the ability. It's a matter of how hard he's willing to work, being positioned in the right time to take the right fights and keep moving up. He certainly can punch. There's no question about that. And he was fouled a couple times. It was not an easy fight for Marks.
See Larry Marks, formerly top 10 contender as a welterweight, doing business now as a middleweight, and takes care of business here in the ballroom. Let's get the official time of that TKO from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Referee Kenny Chevalier reaches the count of 10 in round 4, and the winner by knockout, Larry the Laser Marks.
So Larry Marks is victorious in a very interesting fight. Elias Cruz, competitive. The low blows sent him down a path that Larry Marks didn't like, so he turns it around and takes home the victory. We'll be right back with Jon Scheinman and an interview with the winner. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Another look at how this fight ended. There went Cruz down, and that was it. That's where it would end. And Larry Marks victorious, his 25th victory as a professional, 15 by knockouts. Wanted to get back in that title picture, and he's standing by with Jon Scheinman.
What a bizarre fight that was, and you certainly got upset by the multiple low blows, and we heard you taunting Elias Cruz. I'm going to knock you out.
Nah, you know, it started out a good fight, but I guess you could say around the second and third round, he started getting dirty with it. And yeah, I got frustrated, but my corner told me and the ref told me to just keep my composure. So from then on, I got to a point where I wanted to knock him out, but I didn't. I wanted to just punish him for 8 rounds, just beat him bad. That's why I started throwing my jab a lot. Because, I mean, he started fighting dirty. I wanted to hurt him. I wanted this to turn into a street fight. But I'm a boxer, so I handled it the professional way.
Larry, was it your sense that he was looking for a way out to maybe get disqualified because he was overmatched, or did you think that he was just, you know, generally trying to rough up the proceedings?
Well, I don't know. It could have been both ways, but I feel that most of me feel that he was just looking for a way out, because, you know, I started landing. I hurt him in the second round, and from then on after that, that's when he started getting real dirty. So in a way, he probably wanted to get disqualified, or he was trying to make me mad enough to knock him out, which I did in the 4th round, but I wanted to punish him.
Now you've been off a while. You've tried to go for some championship belts in the past. You were stopped in February. How do you feel coming into this fight, plus with the step up in weight to 164?
I feel pretty good. You know, I didn't really too much step up in weight. It was just that I started training late. And this where my weight had got stuck at, so I just took the fight at this weight. But I'm still a junior middleweight and a welterweight. I want to fight in those 2 divisions.
So you think you're going to slim down to, let's say, 154?
Yeah, I'm going back down to 154. I'm not really a 160-pounder, a middleweight fighter. But if it come down to it where I can't make 57, then yeah, I'll fight at 60.
At this point into your career, do you see another title shot in the picture, and what will it take to get there?
It would take more wins like this, you know. I would have to be more serious in the fight like this one here. I wasn't too serious until he started hitting me with low blows. But I would have to get at least like 3 or 4 more good fights and be more serious about them and let the public out there know and let the people out there know that I'm serious and that I'm coming back.
Larry Marks stops rough and tumble Elias Cruz in the ballroom. Let's go back to ringside.
Yeah, I should start calling myself Larry the Laser Michael.
I like it.
Well, we like Larry Marks' performance tonight against Elias Cruz. More ballroom boxing coming your way in a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back to the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Nurhan Suleyman taking on man from Kiev, Ukraine, Artur Atadklanov. Hard to say that one. Let's see if Jon Scheinman can do better. John, what's the outlook on this one?
Well, I'll start talking about Suleyman. He started his career 14-0, Larry, including 2 wins here in the ballroom. And then inexplicably came in overweight and out of shape for his USBA title fight with David Estrada, in which he lost. He buckled down. He's got another win under his belt, and now he comes back tonight against Atadklanov, who has been training in Don King's camp in Ohio. He's come in with a group of other Russians to learn the American-style game, and now he's battling another Russian fighter. Could be a good fight.
Should be. We've seen Suleyman before. He is the technician in the ring. Let's get it started with Pat O'Malley.
It's time now for the main event. The Maryland State Athletic Commission Chairman David J. Norman, Executive Director Patrick Pinella, the commissioners at ringside, Wild Bill McCaffrey, Phil Feaster, Raymond C. Dow Jr., the Secretary of the Maryland Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, James D. Fielder Jr., Ballroom Boxing Promoters Scott and Michael J. Wagner, Matchmaker Chris Middendorf, and the Director of Boxing Operations Dave Wilkerson. Along with the physicians at ringside tonight, Dr. Edmund J. McDonald, Dr. Douglas Frankel, and the Chief Physician and Neurologist, Dr. Stephen Manikin. The State Athletic Commission Legal Counsel is Bruce C. Spiesler. The timekeeper for the 8-round bout is Tommy Canaris. The scorekeeper is Gary Campaneschi. And the man in charge when this 8-round bout commences is Malik Waleed. If a decision is necessary, it will be rendered by one of our 3 judges at ringside, Kenny Chevalier, John Gradowski, and Don Risher. It's time now to meet the combatants for this 8-round junior middleweight ballroom brawl. This is the main event. First to my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the black and yellow trunks. He weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. He comes to us from Kyiv, Ukraine. His record, 9-3, 7 via the KO. Please welcome to the ballroom, Artur, the Scar, Atadklanov. To my left, out of the red corner, wearing the green trunks with gold. He weighed in at 148 1/4 pounds. He comes to us from Houston, Texas, via Kazakhstan, Russia. His record, 15-1, 7 by knockout. Please welcome back to the ballroom, Nurhan, the Sun King, Suleyman.
Suleiman and the Scar, Artur Atadklanov. We're going to get that right before we're done. Malik Walid is the referee.
Okay, let's go second.
Suleiman lost the USBA title fight to David Estrada in July, his only loss on his record.
Boxing. When I say break, you both ought to stop punching, take a full step back, and remember, protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck to you both.
Atadklanov is 9-3 with 7 knockouts, just 25 years old. This is his first fight in the USA. Last fight was in the Ukraine, and he was a KO winner in that one. Suleiman has a beard that might be reminiscent of a leprechaun in there.
Especially with those green shorts.
This fight is scheduled for 8 rounds. Ballroom Boxing Edition number 61.
Wow, it's been a heck of a run.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Scott Wagner doing a great job as always, putting together a fantastic show for edition number 61.
49 more, we hit the century mark. No, 39 more. Bad math.
Yeah, Penn State math.
Woo.
Thank you. Of course, you did not major in math, John. You are a journalism major, as we all know.
No wonder there's always a 0 missing on my check.
No, that's not why. Atadklanov coming after Suleiman, who has the superior experience to his credit.
Suleiman, 33 years old.
But he's a young 33. I talked to him in the lobby of the hotel, John, and he really hasn't taken a lot of pounding, but he did say he predicted a 4th round knockout win in this one. Now, I don't know a lot about Tartynov. That's what his prediction was. Big clash of heads that time.
Let him take him up, Suleiman.
Tartynov is hurt. He's busted open. His forehead busted open. I believe it was a clash of heads. We saw it. You got to hear the clunk. And that is a nasty cut.
That's the kind of cut that could stop a fight.
Stop! And he is bleeding profusely right between the eyes.
Oh, that's in a bad spot.
It is a nasty gash. And we'll see what the doctor has to say. Let's listen.
That's what I think too.
Doctor's really got to look closely at that one.
Don, you ain't seen anything that suggested other than an accidental headbutt. Okay, that's where I see it as accidental headbutt, okay? Accidental, okay?
Accidental
There's
headbutt
an accidental headbutt.
is what Malik Walid is calling.
Accidental, correct. And there's an accidental headbutt, okay? Accidental headbutt.
Atadklanov talking to the doctors, got an interpreter there. That is an ugly cut right between the eyes, John.
Well, it's not in a good location, obviously. That's where the blood could normally drip into the eyes, impeding vision. We'll have to see how they can stem the tide of that cut between rounds.
Suleiman, oh man,
he's
he's pawing away at it.
Yeah.
He can't see. It's going right in his eye.
Tell you what, he's a sitting duck, and he knows that he's starting to fight very aggressively.
Left hand by Tartynov. Ugly, ugly cut. And between rounds, we're going to keep it here. Trying to sort things out for you, as this, our main event, has gone ugly early.
Tartynov has got to get a lot more aggressive. He's got a guy with blood pouring in his eye, blinking, and he's backing to the ropes. Excuse me, Suleiman.
So Suleiman's been poked in the eye by Atadklanov.
Stop! No punching, no punching, no punching. Let him out.
Well, look at the blood pouring from the forehead of Tartynov. And this is going to be, a decision is going to have to be made at the end of round 1. Unless they can stop that bleeding somehow miraculously. Suleiman trips, stepped on his foot. Just an ugly fight. We'll be back after a short timeout. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Now let's go to Jon Scheinman. John, what is the verdict here? If this fight is stopped now because of the cut, the accidental headbutt, what's the call?
Well, Larry, under Maryland State Athletic Commission rules, if the fight is stopped before the end of the second round, it's automatically going to be ruled a technical draw. Any round after that, third round on, they'll go to the scorecards.
Here's a look at what happened. Clearly an accidental headbutt, and Atadklanov got the worst of that exchange. Dome to dome. They're working feverishly to try to stop the bleeding.
Actually, that cut looks a little bit in a decent spot. It almost looks like it's lower on the nose area than we thought, although our view's being blocked.
Okay, seconds out.
Can't really tell
how we looking?
it is.
Certainly enough doctors
All right,
in the
we're
corner.
gonna watch it real close, okay? If it opens up any further, then we're gonna have to stop
There's
it.
blood on his nose that I saw. That
Too
was
much
something
gasoline?
else.
Time.
That's a real bad spot.
Suleiman being instructed to go to the neutral corner
He can't
now.
even see out of his eyes.
Okay, all
Look,
right.
he's already got to be wiped down.
Okay.
Taking a look, we're trying to check that eye out.
Okay. All right, because it's sitting there. Okay.
And it's going to go. We're going to take another look at how that nasty cut happened. Here's the clash of heads. Boom! Right there.
Move back.
We've
let's
had
go.
a lot of that this evening. Nothing this bad. But again, when you get orthodox versus unorthodox fighters, lefties versus southpaws.
We'll bring Jon Scheinman in again just to clarify, John. If this round ends and he's getting upset, or Tartynov
They
is.
just hit again.
Oh, man, that is nasty. If this fight goes through this second round, John.
Okay.
Larry, if the fight is stopped in this round, it'll be ruled a technical draw. If it goes to the next round and they complete the third round, they should go to the scorecards. That's the rules in Maryland.
I don't know who's winning this one.
But if
Well,
they stop it, it could be TKO after this round.
Suleiman won the first round.
So if this round is completed,
it's an accidental, but in the next round, if he can't go on, it'll be a TKO for Suleiman.
All right, so Suleiman probably. Think Suleiman knows that, John?
Stop.
I'm going to guess he doesn't.
Okay, let's go.
But he's fighting with a sense of urgency anyway, which is what he should be doing regardless. He may know. He may know. They may have told him, or his corner may have asked.
That's nasty, nasty cut. I don't know how many more rounds Tartynov could continue. After such a deep gash, that's going to take some stitches for sure.
Stop. Stop. No pushing. No pushing.
Tartynov seems to have just backed off ever since this happened.
Break. Break.
I don't know if he's uncomfortable fighting a left-hander or... Once again, I met Suleiman in the green trunks.
Now Suleiman just laying back. I don't know if anybody's winning this round. Good body shot that time by Tartynov. It's too bad that cut happened. He looks like he's got some skills.
Yeah. He's given Suleiman the fits, actually, in the first couple of rounds here.
Really, the cut not a factor right now. You got to give Tartynov some credit for just fighting through this adversity.
Well, he's fighting as if it's not bothering him at all. And that's what the referee is looking at in the ring position.
This fight is going on despite the cut. Suleiman in the green trunks, Tartynov in the black trunks with the yellow trim.
You know what? Suleiman keeps straying low with those punches. I don't know if that's intentional. He's done it 3 times.
End of the second round here in the ballroom.
Let's go.
The corner of Atadklanov really doing I don't know what they can do with that cut. You can see there. You can't see from that distance, but
pour some men in it.
But it is deep and it is nasty, and round 3 is underway. So there's a good shot at it.
It is a groove.
Low shot that time by Suleiman. Suleiman, nice right hand by Suleiman. He timed it nicely coming in, and that hurt him.
Yeah, he got a little wobbled there. Tartynov really stepped back a little bit, but shook. That was Suleiman's best punch of the fight, Larry.
Really was. Stopped him in his tracks.
And Suleiman keeps digging downstairs. Not a bad strategy. He's trying to slow up Tartynov from just coming in and throwing those big rights and lefts.
Get out of there. Get up.
Tartynov is tough. I mean, he's right there for Suleiman. Not taking any steps backward.
No push it.
Tell you what, Tartynov, you got to give him a lot of credit.
Tell you what, John, you're right. I mean, he got busted open bad at the beginning of the fight. He's taken some pretty good shots from Suleiman as well. And he continues to move forward.
A lesser fighter would be just looking for a way to survive, box, BS around the ring. That's not what he's doing. He's trying to win this fight.
Suleiman is such a technician in the ring, though. It's tough. It's tough enough.
Punch out,
when you can see clearly, not having blood come through your eyes. Suleiman trying to set up that right hand, looking to counter. Again, this fight is scheduled for 8 rounds tonight here in the ballroom. We're in round 3.
A lot of mauling tactics on the inside by both fighters. They choose to fight this at close quarters. Good body attack again by Suleiman. It's really helping him stay ahead in this round.
Left hand counter by Atadklanov. Scores to the jaw of Suleiman. Suleiman pulls back with that right hand cocked. I mean, he's waiting for that right hand. There it is. He scores, and Atadklanov keeps moving forward. End of the 3rd round here in the ballroom. All right, round 4 underway here in the ballroom. This fight scheduled for 8 rounds tonight. Jon Scheinman, despite the cut, Atadklanov has fought well. Who's leading on your scorecard?
Well, 30-27, a shutout for Suleiman, but it's not been easy for him. Extremely grueling fight, particularly on the inside. Both men have done excellent body work. There is a little bit of dirty stuff going on there, like Suleiman's low blow that he just threw there. I think Suleiman at this point is grinding him down. Cut or no cut.
Tartynov in this country again, in the Don King stable, providing sparring for some of the world contenders and world champions. So you know he gets good work in the gym, John.
Well, he's constantly surrounded by world-class fighters, and when you're helping train guys, you're going to learn a lot in the gym.
Body shot that time by Atadklanov. And against Suleiman. It's an awkward opponent for Suleiman. Now he's ripping downstairs. This is the round 4, that he said he would knock him out in. Now, I'm not so sure he's going to back up that prediction.
One of the differences in this fight has been the body punching of Suleiman. As you see Tartynov having to drop his arms down to protect his rib area.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
Tartynov really hanging in there against against a guy who's banging away. Suleiman keeps pressing
Punch out, punch out, punch out, punch
There's
out.
a lot of blood all over the face of Atadklanov.
It's a real gutty performance by Atadklanov.
Fight with the international flavor. It's Kazakhstan against Ukraine. Short right hand by Suleiman drove
Punch out,
Tartynov against the ropes.
Keep him up, Suleiman.
There goes Suleiman getting a warning from Malik Waleed for hitting below the belt. He's been doing it throughout the fight. He's been getting away with it. You know what? Keep doing it until the referee makes you stop.
Both guys sitting down on their punches, scoring some power shots.
It's a terrific test of wills on the inside, Larry, with the power punching, particularly downstairs. They're really going at it. Sometimes on television, that doesn't necessarily translate real well. When you're sitting ringside, watching guys turn over punches, you feel the full effect.
Another good body shot by Suleiman.
There's a lot of pride between these two guys, and I think a lot of it has to do with nationalism.
Stay off the head, stay off the head.
Suleiman's trying to set up that right hand. You can see it from ringside. I'm sure you can tell as you're watching on television. Ballroom boxing in your house tonight. Round 5 coming up next. Action from round 4.
Make sure we get the corner clean.
Nice right-left combination by Atadklanov. Coming a very grueling fight, Jon Saraceno.
It really is, and both fighters have given their all, Larry, and that's not a cliche in this case. They've dug down. Both guys stayed in the center of the ring. They're going after it, and I tell you what, if Suleiman should be ahead in the fight, but if he wilts because of stamina, Atadklanov got enough left to stop him, but Atadklanov is really getting ground down by Suleiman. Terrific battle.
Yeah, Suleiman trying to set up that right hand. He's scored repeatedly with the right hand. Been slowing down a little bit here in round 5.
Well, it's just been a terrific pace through the first 4 rounds. And you wonder, can they both sustain it? Will one fighter's will overcome the other? This is where conditioning, mental toughness comes in to play in a serious fashion. Because they both can fight. That's obvious. They're both skilled fighters.
Break! No punching, no punching, no punching. Step back.
Nice left hand there by Suleiman. Suleiman fought for the Turkish Olympic team.
Punch out, punch out,
Sydney,
punch
Australia, at a rather advanced age to be an Olympian. Originally from Kazakhstan, however.
He's 33 years old.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's in good condition. Fights like a much younger man.
Fought Costa Zoo in the amateurs, and a lot of people thought that he beat
Watch your
Costa
heads,
Zoo in
watch
the
your heads,
amateurs.
watch your
That
heads.
is an
Punch out of there, punch out of there,
incorrect
come on.
Did not beat him in the amateurs, but fought him in the amateurs.
You mean they misstate the fact that he won, or
Yes.
was it disputed?
No, he did not win.
I see.
It had been reported that he had won, but you know, you go back to those amateur days in
Watch
the
your
former
heads, watch your
Soviet
heads,
Union.
punch out
Who
of
knows
there,
what those
punch out of
records
there.
were?
Right.
I think Atadklanov still has a shot in this fight if he can start putting some punches together.
He's live. Yeah, no question.
Suleiman slick though, slipping
Punch out,
punches
punch out,
nicely.
punch out.
Really not getting hit cleanly with anything.
Oh, he's fighting a really smart fight. He's moving just enough and away from the left hand, circling both ways.
Suleiman staying right in front of Atadklanov. And they exchange.
Stop!
Shot
Your
a little
last
bit
one,
low.
your last one on it.
And Malik Waleed says that's the last warning for you.
Malik has been very liberal with his warnings.
That's round 5 here in the ballroom. All right, welcome back to the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno, John Scheinman, as always, alongside as well. What's the scorecard through 5, John?
Well, it's 50 to 45, still a shutout on my card for Suleiman in extremely closely contested rounds. Larry, I felt that the 5th round, the last one, was the first one that fell into a sort of a monotonous pattern, a sort of predictable pattern where it seemed like Atadklanov could not turn the tide, and it just seemed like he was finally showing signs of taking the body punches and not being able to, you know, stay on top of Suleiman.
Or Tartynov, we've probably pronounced his name 20 different ways here tonight, but we still probably haven't gotten it right, any one of us. Regardless,
if he wins, I'll ask him afterwards.
You hold it.
Well, too many consonants in that name. More vowels.
Suleiman again
Watch your
trying
heads,
to
watch your heads, watch your heads.
time Tartynov coming in.
Tell you what, you have to admire Suleiman's work rate.
Watch it, stay up the head.
He's not exactly been economical with his punches. He just keeps throwing.
Punch out,
and
punch out, let him go,
throwing and
Suleiman.
throwing.
Let him go.
And so's the other guy. I mean, the other guy hasn't cheated anybody out of their money either.
Now, both these guys trained well for this one, no doubt about that. Tartynov has not been bothered, other than the round that the cut happened in round 1. He scores with an overhand right.
Stop holding, stop holding.
Other than that first round, the cut really hasn't bothered him too much.
I'm just amazed at the conditioning of these fighters. They're able to fight like this consistently. As Gil Clancy would say, neither one of them exactly looks as fresh as a daisy, but they keep fighting. Another low shot, and Walid saw that, and he's getting ready to take a point.
Nice uppercut by Tartynov on the inside. He's beginning to score with some power shots on Suleiman here in the 6th round.
Oh, there's another one. And Suleiman's so crafty the way he turns it over on the inside and so quick. Sometimes you don't see it. I think that's been a difference in the fight is his body punching.
I'll tell you what, I think Tartynov is beginning to turn the tide a little bit here in this round. Scored with the uppercut, and that kind of started things in his direction. Now in the center of the ring, another nice left hand by Tartynov.
Punch out of there. Stop.
Another low blow. This could be a point. It's gonna be.
Oh, it has to be. It's about time. Malik Williams is a very good referee, but I thought he was a little bit too liberal in his warnings throughout the fight.
That's going to tighten things up considerably in what was a close fight to begin with.
Because when you're hitting a man that low for that many rounds, it's taking something out of him. Expecting to fight.
7th round coming up from the ballroom. All right, let's check out the action. All right, let's check out the action from round 6 here. This fight scheduled for 8 rounds tonight.
Oh, nice uppercut by Tartynov on the inside to the jaw. Suleiman. Misses with the right.
And we are underway with action in round 7 in the ring. Round 7 is underway. Tartynov in the black trunks with the gold trim. Suleiman in the green trunks. Jon Scheinman, what's the scorecard quickly here in round 7?
Well, that tightened it up considerably, Larry, with the point deduction because I had Tartynov also win the round. So I gave him a 10-8. He's now only down 58-55. He's going to need another big round to even this fight up on my unofficial card. But he's getting closer.
I got him trailing by 2.
Get up, break. Listen, man.
Suleiman switching over to southpaw.
Well, he's really blinking. That blood is coming back into his eyes, Larry. Tartynov having a hard time seeing. Suleiman's got to take advantage of that. As cruel as it sounds, it's part of the game.
Blood has opened up. The cut has opened up. Tartynov beginning to hammer away at Suleiman, who's heard of it right now. Suleiman trying to regroup. Big round right now. Big turning point for Tartynov.
Boy, he's throwing those big left-hand bombs.
Suleiman is exhausted, and he's taking unprotected shots.
What a sensational main event we're having here in Glen Burnie, Maryland.
And Suleiman's tired. He's tightened up now, and Tartynov taking it to him.
Punch out.
This is an excellent fight. Great matchmaking by Chris Mittendorf, Scott Wagner, the promoter. These are the kind of fights you pay to see.
Good right counter by Suleiman, but Tartynov walks right through it.
I mean, this is a fight fan's kind of a fight, don't you think, Larry?
Yeah, knockdown, drag out. A little bit of everything. A little drama with the cut.
No hold it, punch out of there. Punch out.
Both guys in it.
Real courageous guys, too.
Yeah, both of them. You think they were fighting back home and the crowd was full of people from Russia and Kazakhstan, the way they're going at it. I mean, they're really laying it on the line.
Punch out of there, fellas.
Oh, big left hand by Tartynov scores. And what is keeping Suleiman up?
I don't know, but he's getting awful careless. He's dropping his hands, he's spreading his legs.
Don't forget, Suleiman had a point deducted for a low blow earlier in this fight. That could be deciding.
Suleiman's off balance with those legs open.
Grueling fight.
Keep him clean.
3 minutes to go. The 8th and final round.
Boy.
Coming up next from the ballroom.
Tartynov, what a performance. Win or lose.
And action from previous rounds in what's been a great fight.
Really has. They've been going at it. The old hammer and tongue. And you see the right hands by Tartynov, but he landed plenty of lefts. He was off balance there, chasing Suleiman across the ring.
And that is an ugly cut. Got a close-up look at Tartynov's cut as we look back on some of the other action.
Okay, fellas,
from round 7, we have reached the 8th and final round. And John Scheinman, who's winning this fight on your scorecard?
Atadklanov is at a late charge, but he's still down by 2, 67-65 on my unofficial card. He needs a knockout to
I don't
win,
want to take
Larry,
another point
or at
from you,
least a
you
10-8 round
understand
to
me?
pull out
Let's
a
keep
draw.
him up. Come on.
Okay, that's Scheinman's opinion. Not necessarily that of the ringside judges.
I think it's close. It may be a little closer than that.
That 1-point deduction from Suleiman for the low blow.
In fact, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this fight ends up a split decision.
Suleiman beginning to pick up the work rate here in the 8th and final round.
Nice right hand by Suleiman. Like a right cross.
Tartynov not fazed by that punch.
He's not fazed by anything.
He really is.
I'm not so sure if he put anvils in the other guy's gloves, he'd be fazed by it. Just keeps moving forward, throwing.
Stay off his head. Punch out.
Overhand left by Suleiman scores.
Punch out of there. Punch out of there.
Just a very entertaining
Watch your
fight.
heads, watch your heads.
The kind of fight we've been accustomed to seeing here in the Ballroom Boxing Series over the last decade.
Punch out, fellas. Come on, keep it clean.
Boxing had more fights like this, Larry, it would be a popular sport again.
It's popular here in the ballroom because of fights like this.
No question.
Punch out of there, punch out of there.
This is a real fight.
Tartynov's still a little sneaky in there, and you know, both men are exhausted. If anybody goes down here, a knockdown would be huge on the scorecards.
Okay.
I don't think either side's going to be particularly happy with the decision.
And both guys have really spent themselves in this fight.
I mean, can you imagine losing a decision? I mean,
well, I don't
punch
know.
Out of there, punch out of there, fellas. Come on,
not
punch
after
out.
you put this much into it. Eighth and final round. Who's going to take home the victory?
Stay off the back of the head. Go.
Nice right hand by Suleiman.
Oh, that was a beauty. Right on the butt.
Punch out of there, fellas. Punch out of there.
What stamina these fighters have shown tonight.
Incredible, hasn't it been?
The volume of punches. Just tremendous.
And this fight is going to go to the judges' scorecards. No knockdowns, one gruesome cut from an accidental headbutt in round one. Suleiman and Atadklanov go the distance. Fans love it. We'll have the decision when we return. So they go the distance, Suleiman and Atadklanov, and we have some replays of action earlier in the fight. And as far as I'm concerned, the 1-point deduction could figure prominently in the judges' scorecards. Let's take a look at some of the action from earlier.
Well, there's no question Malik Waleed took a point from Suleiman, but he could have done it sooner. You see sweeping left hook by Suleiman misses. There wasn't a lot of misses tonight as both fighters got inside and traded throughout the 8 rounds. Very competitive fight. Suleiman, round 7, you just see the stamina of Atadklanov just keep moving forward and throwing with both hands. Really forced Suleiman to keep fighting. He really never had a chance to rest. And it was a grueling fight of attrition here at the Ballroom Boxing Series.
So Pat O'Malley has the decision. Was it Atadklanov or was it Suleiman taking home the win tonight in the Ballroom? Let's go to Pat and find out.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. How about a fine round of applause for both boxers and their valiant effort? All right, we go to the scorecards. Judge John Gradowski scores it 76-75, Suleiman. Judge Richter scores it 77-74, Atadklanov. And Judge Chevalier scores it 76-76. We have a draw.
A draw in the Ballroom. That point deduction was the difference on the scorecard of Kenny Chevalier.
No question. And you know what? I don't think an undeserved draw. You hate to see either fighter walk out of here with a loss because they both put so much into it. And I thought the fight, Larry, was that close.
There they are. We'll be back to wrap it up from the Ballroom in a moment. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Now let's go to Jon Scheinman and an interview with both fighters.
We're back after the draw in the main event. We're going to start with Artur Atadklanov. And I want to ask you, first, congratulations. How bad was the cut? How much did it affect your performance?
Он хочет тебя поздравить прежде всего, а во-вторых спросить, порез твой, это рана, насколько плохо она была? Как тебе это помешало драться?
Да, мне в первом раунде помешало, в первом раунде сечка помешала. Мне заливало глаз. Я думал, будет тяжелый бой в дальнейшем. Оно и было нелегкий бой, в принципе.
Yeah, it was bothering him, especially in the first round. He couldn't see anything because of the blood. But he knew it was going to be a tough fight, and he was ready regardless of what happened.
Did you feel like you won the fight?
Ты чувствуешь, что ты выиграл бой?
Я чувствую, что я выиграл бой. Но чуть-чуть из-за сечки оно помешало мне чуть. Я думаю, было бы лучше.
I feel like I won a fight, but this cut really slowed me down a little bit. It could have been more.
Let's go to Nurhan Suleyman, who we've seen here in the Ballroom before, but this definitely was your toughest performance. You looked like you were concentrating on the body the entire fight and indeed got a point taken away for some low blows. Was the body attack your strategy?
You know, first of all, thanks for my brother. He's from Uzbekistan, you know, and he gave me a good fight. And of course, I didn't expect from him that kind of possibility, but you know, this is boxing. You have to prepare every time serious. I was ready, you know, whatever. But my point was frustrate him, you know. But I couldn't do what I want because of. You know, I was a little bit sick this 2 weeks ago. You know, this maybe I think I feel a little bit. I feel weak. You know, Well, it was good fight.
Well, everyone in the ballroom enjoyed this one, a spectacular main event. And if Chris Mittendorf is out there listening, I say we put this one back together and do a rematch. Let's go back to ringside.
Thank you, Jon Scheinman. Stay tuned for more Ballroom Boxing.
We're back at the ballroom after the main event between Suleyman and Atadklanov, and I'm here with Dave Bontempo, who calls the fights on the radio for WJFK. And Dave, it seems like we've had a change in the scorecard long after the bouts have ended. Let's talk about what's happened here.
Yeah, John, after a routine recalculation, they found out that indeed there had been an error in the way the scorecards had been added up. There are 3 cards, a red, white, and a blue. And what happened is the scores were put in the wrong order in the second round of the fight. After they looked back on that, they realized there had been a mistake in round 2, and so instead of a draw, there was a small victory for Atadklanov.
Well, and it's unfortunate that it turned out this way because a lot of the fans had to go home without finding the decision. But the commission, recognizing the error, stuck around, went into the back room, and made sure the call was right. It seemed like the discrepancy was in Kenny Chevalier's scorecard. The fighters, too, stuck around, Atadklanov particularly, because he had some stitches to get at the hospital. But both fighters waited around to find out the decision, and, well, it's changed, and it's gone in Atadklanov's favor.
Well, always 2 schools of thought. One is, hey, how could we find out we lost after we left the arena pretty much? The other one is, hey, you get it right. That's how boxing does their version of instant replay. They huddled together and they looked and they found it, and that's what happened. It's basically a very difficult break for the guy that loses the fight, but still, justice is done in this delayed manner, and the fighters are just finding out, and that's part of the business.
Strange way to end after a tremendous fight in the ballroom. Go ahead.
I'm just glad that the gash that occurred in round 1 did not end the fight. I've seen so many of these clashes short-circuit good fights that were in the mix. This did not happen in this fight. These guys gave out to the end, and the corners did a good job. Everybody stayed together, and this fight made it all the way to its conclusion.
And it comes out with Atadklanov coming away with the victory. Maybe matchmaker Chris Mittendorf can put this one together again. I'm sure both fighters would like to do it. And that's it from Ballroom Boxing.
That's going to do it for us here in the ballroom. Boy, what an exhausting night, John. A lot of great fights.
It was a bizarre night. There was a lot of great action, some interesting moments, a night we'll never forget.
You can say that again. For Jon Scheinman and Jon Saraceno, I'm Larry Michael. We'll catch you next time for Ballroom Boxing.